not as tall as they thought I was, obviously. So, thank you very much everyone for coming here tonight. My name is Andi Beamish, and I'm the President of the Association of Surgeons in Training for approximately 12 more hours. We've got our elections tonight, so there'll be a new president that we can tell you all about tomorrow at our annual general meeting. It's fantastic to welcome you here to Belfast. Belfast is a fantastic city, as I've come to realise over the past 12 months, having come here to organise the conference with our team. And Belfast have been incredibly welcoming, and by far the most impressive team of conference organising committees, and the venue as well. The Waterfront Hall here has been absolutely incredibly accommodating, and we can't sing their praises enough. The conference will begin formally tonight. We're delighted to have the Lord Mayor of Belfast here with us. He's given us some time in his busy schedule to come and open the conference for us, Máirtín and Muilleoir, and he's going to come and speak to us about Belfast, welcome us, tell us exactly what we're in store for. So please put your hands together and welcome Máirtín and Muilleoir.
President Beamish, colleagues, Máirtín fáilte roh go Belfast anocht, to our Welsh friends, Proud Da, to everyone else, have a really big warm welcome to Belfast. Really, you're looking out there, all this is really staged for you tonight. Usually we don't have trains crossing the roads here and cars and bicycles and so on, but we do this for our conference visitors. It's actually, I'm impressed, so I am, so it's like a Truman Show. But we do have a majestic landscape here, the beautiful dark black mountain right down into Belfast Lough, and the wonderful majestic Lagan as well. And it's a wonderful time for you to be in Belfast. We welcome our conference visitors. We believe that our conference visitors not only bring, of course, a much needed boost to the economy, but it does help to spread the word about Belfast, helps the buzz about Belfast. Tells people that it's a city worth visiting, and one which will be very enjoyable. We're really pleased that the great job that Visit Belfast do, and we know that they will go full out to make sure that your visit is successful. Andy says he has 12 hours left. We have in this city a thing called the Putin strategy, where you can actually go and bid again and be president again. I have 66 days left in my term, so I'm working on that strategy. It does involve invading part of the city, but we can work all that out for you. The wonderful thing about Belfast, as very much a city on the rise, is it's very future focused, and people say what is the most important year in Belfast, and depending what part of the city, some people say 1690, some people say 1916. In my view, the most important year is 2020. We are really getting our act together as a city, uniting as a city, looking very optimistically to the future, and there's good reason for that. We are one of the youngest cities in Europe. Today I had my counterpart, the Lord Mayor of Dublin here. Dublin is second in Europe out of 250 cities, 21% under 15. In this city, 18% of the people are under 15, and that gives us great hope for the future. We also are a city increasingly diverse, and we're very proud of that. The biggest parade in the city of Belfast, and those of you who perhaps used Mr. Google before you came to Belfast will see we have a lot of parades. But the biggest parade is the Pride Parade in June, with 55,000 people in the inner city, in the city core. We are also delighted to be the hub of filmmaking in Europe. The largest film production in Europe last year was Game of Thrones, which is filmed just behind you in the former shipyard site. So those of you who watch Game of Thrones and wonder why all the extras have Belfast accents, now I know it's because they're on our doorstep. We're investing in the future of the city. We're investing in tourism and conference visitors especially. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome the Association of Surgeons in Training here tonight. Have a wonderful conference. Vote wisely for the next president. Andy assures me that he is 30-year-old. He's obviously... There's obviously no stress involved in this job. That's very clear. There's no wrinkles, no grey hairs. Have a wonderful time in Belfast. We're delighted to roll out the red carpet for you. So good luck with your deliberations, and have a little bit of crack in between times. Thank you. Thanks very much.
He's wrong, actually. I said 13, but thank you very much for an excellent welcome to Belfast, and I'm sure the conference is going to be a huge success. Already it's proven itself that you guys are here. The feedback that we've had from the courses that we've been running today has been immensely positive, and it always is, and it gives us great pleasure to have you here. The second of our speakers to open the conference just arrived from the airport is the very distinguished president of the college in England. It's Professor Norman Williams. So again, please put your hands together and welcome.
Timing as usual is impeccable. I see the mayor's got a bigger gong than I've got. I forgot mine actually, which is a great shame. Because I think actually, let's have a look at your gong. Yes. No, you don't. No, please. No. I now feel appropriately dressed. Thank you, sir. As Mayor of Belfast, I'd like to welcome all to this wonderful conference. Now, seriously, for a minute, I just want to congratulate all the trainees and for all their dedication and hard work, and for the enthusiasm that they show. And every time I come to these meetings, I'm always incredibly impressed by the people that are coming through and supporting the profession. And it's really magnificent. I think one of the fantastic things that have happened is the research networks. And in fact, it was the trainees who started the research networks. And there are now, what, Andy, 20, over 20 of them? More than 20, and doing some fantastic collaborative research, which I'm sure will provide the evidence base that surgery needs. And it's an encouragement to all the grumpy old professors, actually, and consultants, actually, to get together, and that's what's happening. They are getting together, and the college is doing a lot in that direction, so fantastic. The other area I'd like to thank ASiT in particular is their engagement with the college and indeed all the colleges, but particularly with the English College, and particularly of late. And I'd like to take my hat off to your president, Andi Beamish, and his team, and Ed Fitzgerald when he's not been available, for the work that we're doing on European Working Time Directive. It's been an ongoing problem for a long time. I'd like to tell you all about what we've found and what we're intending to do, but it would be inappropriate tonight. And anyway, the Prime Minister is now looking at our report, and I'm not sure I want to publish that tonight or tomorrow, actually, necessarily, before he's had a chance to comment on it. It's highly politicised, but what I can say is, and I think, sorry, are you getting a bit bored? I can understand that. I think what I can say is that, as you all know, you're working incredibly hard. Surgical trainees, we know from ASiT survey, are working over and above the 48 hours across the board on a regular basis, and that's a good 70-odd% of you. So I know how dedicated you are to your training, and more importantly, actually, to continuity of patient care. Now, Andy said to me before I came and spoke that I should give you an inspirational chat about me. And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to say about me that will be inspirational? I don't think I can do that. I am quite an inspirational character, mind you, but I don't think it's appropriate. There are a lot more people than me that are inspirational. But I came to meetings like this at your age. I know some of you are medical students. And I thought, will I ever become a consultant? And some of you will think that. And there'll be people I know, even at this conference, who might whisper in your ear, you know, it's so competitive, it's not worth the candle. Well, it is. And if you stick to it and follow your dream, you'll be able one day to be a consultant surgeon like myself and Jonathan Beard and other characters around, and contribute appropriately to what is perhaps the most rewarding specialty that there is, not just in general terms, but in medicine. It's incredibly rewarding. And I think the thing that really, really convinced me how rewarding, I always wanted to be a surgeon from the age of about 5, but that's another story. I think the time I really was convinced was a patient, you won't see these patients very much at the moment, but with a patient with a perforated peptic ulcer. He was a 25-year-old lad who came in one night when I was a student, and it was the first surgical take that I'd ever been on, and he had rip-roaring peritonitis, and he was shocked, and he was in a really bad way. And anyway, to cut a long story short, we operated on him in the middle of the night, and all we did was sew it up, really, sew the hole up, and, you know, this was all before H. pylori and omeprazole, etc. But the next morning, this guy was sat up eating his breakfast. He shouldn't have been, mind you, but he was. And I think that really showed me that I really wanted to do this, because it's something, it's instantaneous. The other thing was that I then became a houseman on the professorial medical unit. Well, you can imagine, can't you, what that's like. Shifting dullness doesn't even describe it. It was extraordinary. I remember one patient who they couldn't understand. We had 5 professors on this unit, and they couldn't understand for the life of them why this chap was anemic. Actually, yeah. He was a man of about 60, and he came in with anemia, and they tried and tried everything. Anyway, one day, and they agonised about, and he was in for about 2 weeks. That's how things have changed. But physicians like that. They like to investigate patients. And I sat down one day and I worked out that he'd lost about 2 units in blood because they were doing so many tests on him. And I suggested to them that his anemia had been corrected, but if they'd stopped investigating, it might be all right. Well, you can see why I'm a surgeon. And so anyway, that's just a bit about myself. I became a colorectal surgeon. The rest of it is history. And I don't want you to be bored by me, but there are a few lessons that I thought that I've sort of picked up on my way that I thought I'd just impart to you. When you get to my age, it is all a question about what you've learned and everything, and passing it on to the next generation. So don't give up on your dream. I think that's the first thing to say. And don't be put off by the naysayers, because if you work hard enough, you put in the effort, you'll get there. I think you should be true to yourself. I think it's very important to speak up if you feel patient care isn't appropriate. I think you've got to do it, you know, properly and appropriately, but nowadays we're into a much more transparent situation which will allow you to do that with the duty of candour and all of those things. But it's very important that you do that and don't feel worried about doing it. And then the other thing is, I tell, if you've been to Diplomates Day, I always say this to the diplomates, that you should always treat patients like a member of your family. I think that really stands you in good stead, although one person came up to me after I'd made this speech at Dips Day and said, "You don't know my mother-in-law." But I think you understand what I mean. The other thing is, I think you should always practice evidence-based medicine, particularly nowadays. There are operations that probably we shouldn't be doing any longer. And when you look across the country, you see a huge variation in operative rates, like tonsillectomy, varying from 5% in some areas to 85% in others. Now, why is that? It's not just a demographic change. It's not, those operations are being done not based on evidence-based. So practice evidence-based surgery. And the other thing is, you can't clock watch. It's just not appropriate. It's not professional. You are in a noble profession. Your patients demand a degree of continuity of care. You need to get trained, and the only way of getting trained in surgery, actually, there are lots and lots of aspects, but you need also to get technically skilled and very importantly, confident. And that requires time on the job. There's no getting away from that, none at all. I mean, obviously you need to rest appropriately, etc., etc., but that is really, unfortunately, the only way you can do it. And the other thing is be nice to each other. You know, so often I meet people who unfortunately comment inappropriately about colleagues, etc. I think it's very important to support each other as much as you can. But the other important thing is enjoy yourself, enjoy the profession. You know, it is a wonderful profession, and Jonathan's over there would agree totally with that. You know, it is a fantastic profession. It's one of the few that you get so much reward from by just doing your job. And you get paid. And you get paid quite well. Don't moan about pay, for God's sake. We get paid very well indeed, actually, for what we do. Really, when you think about it. I'd do it for nothing. Well, not quite. Only if my wife continues to practice law. And at that point, just enjoy yourself tonight. And it's wonderful being here, and I hope you have a fantastic conference. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Professor Williams, and thank you again to Máirtín Muilleoir, Mr. Muilleoir, the Lord Mayor of Belfast. That closes our speeches, but there's still flowing wine, there are still canapes, there's still lots of people around you. You're in amongst the surgeons of the future and some of the surgeons of the present, and it's a great chance for us. It's a great chance for us to network and meet new people and catch up with people that we know as well and see what's going on. We don't often get to socialise in these kind of numbers. So enjoy yourself. We'll see you tomorrow, and some of you Sunday. And as we've heard before, enjoy and have a good time. Thank you very much.